You know, I gotta say, I think in this case, seeing is believing. Because when you just hear that Harry Styles is joining the MCU, or you see a leaked still, it seems kind of silly. But having actually seen the scene, I think Harry Styles sells it. That guy's a professional. He always delivers. But I think Marvel didn't do a very good job on their end. I hope that he and his team have a little talk with them, because they're not doing the same amount of work that Harry Styles is doing. All right, so let's discuss. So the rumors are true. The long gestating rumors are true. Yes, Harry Styles has been rumored to be not only joining the MCU, but playing this character for a very long time. But it's official. He's Eros, aka Starfox. What a great name. And he's introduced in the end credit scene by Pip The Troll, who is voiced by Patton Oswalt. And also, I gotta say, I thought that hiring Patton Oswalt, when I first heard that, was jumping the shark. I mean, talk about silly. Because the guy is super overexposed. But yet, having actually heard him in the role, I think he did a really nice job too. And he doesn't sound too much like himself either. I was worried it would just be Patton Oswalt in the MCU. But instead, he seems to be doing a character. His voice seems a little different. I liked it a lot. He's kind of Thor crossed with Lord Farquaad, which is very funny. And the VFX character animation isn't so great. He looks more like Lord Farquaad than he should, considering he's in live action. But hopefully the VFX team will get there. To me, what really sold the scene was that during his introduction, drunk Pip got the name of Black Roger wrong. That's an actual Star Fox foe from the comics, and Harry Styles had to correct him as he entered in silhouette. That banter was beautiful. That, to me, was what made the whole scene. And speaking of Lord Farquaad, there's that fun royal scampiness to these two, because Harry Styles is playing the Prince of Titan, that we haven't had in the MCU. I mean, sure, Thor and Loki are princes, but they're like Norse Viking princes. Here we're talking more fairy tale, more Shrek. And again, I think that's a really fun new vibe for the MCU. I think that could be great. So what don't I like? What do I think? Where do I think Marvel made a mistake? Well, I don't like Harry Styles' costume. Sure, he's an Eternal, but I mean, is he? He is in the comics. One of the, they have all these different groups of Eternals that go to different planets, right? Well, apparently one group goes to Titan, and instead of just waiting, sitting back like they do in this movie, they decide to start a whole society and go off on their own, and I guess, have their own agenda. And never talk about being Eternals. Because that's right, Thanos doesn't act like an Eternal, he doesn't look like one, he doesn't reference them, and he doesn't even dress like them, even though Star Fox totally does. Whatever! Speaking of Star Fox's actual costume, it is pretty comics accurate with the red and gold, and he's got like a little cape. I think, again, it has that Shrek look, which I think is very funny. But here's where we have a problem. It's hair and makeup, basically. So Harry Styles is the second coming of the era of sexually ambiguous rock glam. Yes, instead of going the Mick Jagger route, which seemed obvious, and Harry Styles doesn't do obvious, so instead of zigging, he zagged. And he decided instead to follow in the footsteps of the likes of David Bowie, Elton John, Freddie Mercury, and more. And David Bowie, of course, I think is best known as an actor for his role in Labyrinth, where he looked amazing. I'm talking not just his costume, but his hair and makeup. But here, it looks like Harry Styles walked right past hair and makeup and just walked onto set after a quick costume change. It almost seems like he's doing an SNL sketch, quite frankly. Harry Styles has made himself a fashion icon, and he deserves better. I mean, Star Fox is even known for a unique hairstyle. Sure, it's a little Wolverine-esque, but it's up to the hair department to find a way to make it its own thing. They give out Oscars for hair and makeup because these people are professionals. They can think of something. I just feel it looked a little bit too much like Harry Styles in the MCU. Granted, it looks a little like Angelina Jolie just in the MCU because Chloe Zhao has a very understated vibe, and to be fair, the MCU as a whole kind of does. But I think Harry Styles is such a big personality that I think you need to, give him, I think you need to really lean into it and really create something for him to play with. I mean, his onstage costumes are far better than the one that he has here. I would let Harry Styles decide what to do, maybe. I'd be like, what do you want to do with this, Harry? Let's take a look. All right, so complaints aside about his look, who are these guys? Well, they're big players in Marvel Cosmic. And the reason they're able to teleport into the Domo, the Eternals ship, is that Pip, after being exposed long-term to the space gem, has retained the ability to teleport. That's pretty cool. I liked the rainbow effect when they came in. I thought that was neat. A little bit like the Rainbow Bridge, of course, from also from Thor, which has been rolled into Marvel Cosmic as well, even though I don't really feel personally it belongs there. But whatever, it's fine. But it's not the Rainbow Bridge. Well, I don't know. Let's see how Marvel might change it, Marvel, the MCU. But in the comics, that's how Pip can do the teleportation. And as any self-respecting comic book fan knows, you're not a real comic book team unless you have a teleporter. So I love it when things get more comic booky. So in the comics, Pip the Troll, who also has some history with Gamora in the comics, Gamora needs all the story she can get. But anyway, he's usually Adam Warlock's sidekick, and both Adam Warlock and Eros, interestingly, have fought Thanos. So I suspect that James, because you might be like, well, Adam Warlock's coming, so what the heck? I suspect James Gunn, as I've discussed with you before during a live stream, will be focusing more on Adam Warlock fighting his deranged future self, Magus. That was something James Gunn even wanted to do in the first Guardians of the Galaxy. So that's been on his to-do list for a while. And then when you think of Adam Warlock fighting Magus, you're like, well, no wonder you cast Will Poulter. So since they're not going to do Adam Warlock's later adventures, it makes sense that Pip has now swiped right on Eros. That's right. You'll see that I used a dating app metaphor for a reason, because just like the rest of the Eternals have names based on Greek mythology, even Thanos, that's one area where he is like the rest of the Eternals, because his name comes from Greek mythology. Eros is, of course, the name of the Greek god of love. And Starfox, if you're wondering where the Starfox name comes from, that's his superhero made-up name. And in the comics, Wasp gave him that because she didn't want to go around calling him the god of love in the field. All right, so in the comics, while Thanos is a fighter, his brother is a lover. Unless, of course, he has to fight. He can fight. Like the other Eternals, Eros, you'll find out in a moment that he doesn't usually have to because of his real power. But like the other Eternals, he has like a base power. He's souped up like a super soldier, but he's not invulnerable. He can join the Unimind, which is the big finale of the Eternals movie. And like Icarus, at least in the comics, Eros can fly, and we'll see if he retains that ability in the MCU. But what really makes Eros special and such a great fit with Harry Styles is his ability to control other emotions, specifically the pleasure center of the brain. It's so great. He can either just make you really happy and agreeable, like he can really get people to do whatever he wants, or he can turn the dial way up to, well, you get the idea. I love it. He can also make someone obsessed with him, which makes you wonder if Harry Styles maybe actually has this power. All right, so anyway, speaking of Harry Styles, he's a pioneer in celebrity gender fluidity. He and Billy Porter. And it would be great to see Eros, as a modern character, be open to love with anyone. And we'll see how far Marvel is willing to take this. Harry Styles certainly game to do this. But, with Loki, they only dipped just a half of a toe in the bisexual pond. So I hope that they are willing to go further with Eros, especially if he's played by Harry Styles. I mean, come on. Word is Harry Styles has signed a multi-picture deal with Marvel. That doesn't mean he's getting his own movie, but they've locked him into a certain salary structure for a bunch of films. So Pip could teleport him into any movie and show in the near future. He's now on the board, which is very exciting. We'll see if he helps the Eternals find Circe, Phastos, and Kingo, as he promises to do at the end of the end credit scene, because they've been taken by Ereshkigal. But I don't know if we're ever going to tell that story. Let's see how Eternals does at the box office. So what do you think of Harry Styles officially joining the MCU? What do you think of the character he's playing? Do you like his look, or do you agree with me that there's room for improvement? And what are your thoughts on Pip? Share those thoughts down below, subscribe today, and of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.